Mechanical keyboard. Mechanical keyboards were the first, before slim laptops, before silent office keyboards, before anyone cared about travel distance or actuation points. Mechanical keyboards were just keyboards. If you used a computer in the 80s or early 90s, you were typing on one whether you knew it or not. And yes, they were loud. Offices back then sounded less like workplaces and more like a room full of typewriters arguing with each other. The most iconic example is the IBM Model M, released in the mid-1980s. This thing was built like industrial equipment. It was heavy, unapologetically clicky, and so durable that many of them still work today. If you dropped one, the floor was probably in danger. Back then, the noise wasn't a feature, it was just how typing sounded. In the late 90s and early 2000s, mechanical keyboards slowly disappeared. Manufacturers wanted thinner, cheaper, quieter keyboards, and membrane designs won. Mechanical boards became old tech, remembered only by people who missed that solid, punchy feel. Then came the comeback. Around the late 2000s, gamers and programmers rediscovered mechanical keyboards and realized something important. Individual switches under every key feel better, last longer, and respond more consistently. That's when modern switch types like Cherry, MX, Red, Brown, and Blue became popular. Smooth for gaming, tactile for balance, clicky for people who enjoy announcing every keystroke to the room. Durability is a big reason people stick with them. Most mechanical switches are rated for 50 to 100 million presses per key, with newer Cherry MX Hyperglide models doubling the original 50 million spec. Compare that to roughly 5 million on a typical membrane keyboard. In other words, a mechanical keyboard might outlive your PC, and possibly your desk. They're heavier, louder, and not always office-friendly, but that's part of the appeal. Mechanical keyboards make typing feel intentional, not mushy. Modern versions range from compact 60% layouts to full-size boards with media controls and RGB lighting that could double as mood lighting. Optical keyboard. Optical keyboards are the modern remix of the mechanical keyboard. Same concept, different science, and a little more futuristic flair. Instead of using metal contacts to register a key press, optical keyboards use light. Each key has an infrared beam underneath it, and the instant that beam is interrupted, the keystroke is registered. No physical contact, no waiting around. This idea started showing up in mainstream keyboards in the late 2010s, right when mechanical keyboards were having their big comeback. Companies looked at traditional switches and basically said, what if we removed friction and made it faster? And that's how optical switches were born. If mechanical switches are like pressing a doorbell, optical switches are more like a motion sensor. You barely touch it and it already knows. The biggest selling point is speed. Because there's no metal contact, there's no debounce delay. The signal is instant. In competitive gaming, that tiny time difference actually matters, which is why brands like Razer, Corsair, SteelSeries, and Wooting jumped on optical switches hard. When milliseconds decide a win or a loss, light beats metal. Durability is another flex. Optical switches often advertise 100 million key presses or more, since there's less physical wear over time. Realistically, the keyboard will probably outlive your PC, your desk setup, and maybe even your interest in RGB themes. Typing feel is where opinions split. Some optical keyboards feel almost identical to mechanical ones, while others feel smoother and slightly lighter. You still get linear, tactile, and clicky styles, just with a cleaner, more consistent press. Some people love that. Others say it feels a bit too perfect, like typing on a keyboard that never had a bad day. The downsides? Optical keyboards usually cost more, offer fewer switch swap options, and you're often locked into a brand's ecosystem. You're buying into speed, not flexibility. In short, optical keyboards are for people who want mechanical vibes with modern speed, not a replacement, just the evolution. And yes, they still click, just faster, cleaner, and a little more smug about it. Membrane keyboard. Membrane keyboards are everywhere, even if you've never gone out of your way to buy one. If you've ever used a school computer, an office desktop, or a random keyboard that came free with a PC, chances are it was a membrane keyboard. They didn't make a dramatic entrance like mechanical keyboards. They quietly took over. Membrane keyboards became popular in the late 1980s and 1990s as computers moved into homes and offices. The goal was simple: make keyboards cheaper, quieter, and thinner. Instead of individual switches, membrane keyboards use layered pressure pads. When you press a key, it pushes down on a rubber dome, completing a circuit underneath. Simple, effective, and very budget-friendly. Typing on a membrane keyboard feels soft and cushioned. Some people call it smooth, others call it mushy. Both are correct. There's no sharp click, no tactile bump, just a gentle press and release. That's why offices love them. They don't sound like a typing competition every time someone sends an email. From a durability standpoint, membrane keyboards are built for everyday use, not lifelong commitment. Most are rated around 5 to 10 million key presses per key, which is perfectly fine for normal typing, but nowhere near mechanical or optical switches. You won't wear one out in a year, but you also won't be handing it down to your future kids. The upside is price and simplicity. Membrane keyboards are lightweight, spill-resistant in many cases, and incredibly affordable. That's why they dominate offices, schools, libraries, and budget laptops. They also make sense for people who type casually and don't care about RGB lighting or switch types. The downside? Precision and feedback. Fast typists and gamers often feel disconnected because keys don't reset as clearly. Pressing multiple keys at once can also cause ghosting on cheaper models. Quick question, are you still using a membrane keyboard right now? Drop it in the comments. And if you're learning something new, hit the like button. It genuinely helps the channel. Scissor switch keyboard. Mechanical keyboards were the first to give typists that satisfying click, but scissor switch keyboards came along to solve a different problem, making typing thin, stable, and precise. They first became popular in the late 1990s and early 2000s, right as laptops started replacing bulky desktops for everyday work. If you've used a laptop in the last 20 years, chances are you've typed on one. The scissor name comes from the interlocking plastic mechanism under each keycap. Two pieces cross like tiny scissors to keep the key stable and reduce wobble. Under that, there's still a rubber dome similar to a membrane keyboard, but the scissor mechanism makes each press feel short, crisp, and controlled. Key travel is much lower than mechanical keyboards, which is why laptop typing feels fast and snappy without needing a lot of finger movement. Scissor switch keyboards became iconic through laptops like IBM ThinkPads, Dell XPS, and Apple MacBooks. Apple's Magic Keyboard also helped cement the design as the gold standard for slim desktop keyboards. In terms of durability, scissor switches usually last 5 to 10 million key presses, with premium models like Cherry's Stream keyboards reaching up to 20 million. Better than standard membrane keyboards, but still below mechanical or optical switches. They're not made for extreme gaming or heavy customization, but for everyday work, writing, coding, and travel. Scissor switch keyboards hit a sweet spot. Ergonomic keyboard. Mechanical keyboards and scissor switches focused on speed and precision, but ergonomic keyboards took a different path, keeping your hands, wrists, and arms from rebelling after long typing sessions. They first appeared in the early 1990s, with the Microsoft Natural keyboard in 1994 leading the charge. Its split design and slightly raised middle made it clear that keyboards didn't have to force your wrists into unnatural positions. The main goal of ergonomic keyboards is proper alignment. Instead of a flat, straight layout, the keys are split or curved so your hands rest naturally. Some models even tilt or tent the keyboards to reduce wrist pronation. The result is less strain, fewer aches, and a much lower chance of repetitive stress injuries. Ergonomic keyboards come in different designs. Some are fully split, letting you angle each half for maximum comfort. Others are curved or tented, guiding your hands into a natural posture while typing. High-end models combine this layout with mechanical or scissor switches, giving both comfort and a satisfying key feel. Models like the Kinesis Advantage 360, Microsoft Sculpt, or ErgoDox EZ have cult followings among developers and writers who spend 8+ hours typing daily. There's a small adjustment period. Typing speed may drop at first as your fingers adapt to the new layout, but soon the benefits become obvious. No more wrist fatigue, no more sore joints, and no more typing while secretly wishing your keyboard would revolt first. Ergonomic keyboards aren't flashy. They won't win a clicky contest with mechanical gaming boards, and they won't light up your desk with RGB. But they do one thing brilliantly: let your hands survive hours of typing comfortably. For anyone who spends a lot of time at a keyboard, these are the unsung heroes keeping your wrists happy. Flexible/Rollup keyboard. Flexible or roll-up keyboards are the portable rebels of the keyboard world. Made from silicone or soft rubber, they can bend, twist, or fold up like a yoga mat, making them perfect for travelers, digital nomads, or anyone who's ever wished their keyboard could fit in a backpack pocket. They first appeared in the late 2000s as a niche solution for people on the move who wanted a full QWERTY experience without carrying a bulky laptop accessory. These keyboards connect mostly via USB or Bluetooth, making them compatible with laptops, tablets, and even some phones. Typing on them feels different. The keys are soft, squishy, and have almost zero travel. That means your fingers sink into the keys rather than pressing down on a spring or scissor mechanism. Accuracy can take a hit at first, especially if you're used to clicky mechanical keys or crisp scissor switches. But the trade-off is extreme portability. Famous models include the Sungwoo Rollup keyboard and iClever flexible keyboard, often priced under $30, which makes them an affordable and practical option for casual use. They're water resistant too. Spilled coffee or juice won't instantly ruin your setup, which is a small miracle for anyone clumsy or forgetful. Fast typists may find themselves missing letters or sending accidental commands, but for quick note-taking, traveling, or emergency setups, they're lifesavers. They won't replace your office keyboard, but they do a solid job when mobility is more important than speed or precision. And that's it for the world of keyboards. From the clicky nostalgia of mechanical switches to the bendy magic of roll-up keyboards, every type has its place. Some are built for speed, some for comfort, and some just for convenience on the go. If you're ready to upgrade and want to skip the endless review rabbit hole, I've got Amazon links in the description that takes you straight to the best-selling keyboards. It's always updated with current prices and top-rated options, so you're not looking at recommendations from 6 months ago when half the keyboards are out of stock. Check it out. It'll save you hours of research. Now, here's the thing. You just learned about keyboards, but what about monitors? You know those letters you see everywhere? IPS, VA, TN, OLED, Mini LED. Most people have no idea what they mean or why they matter. In the next video, I'll explain every panel type in the simplest way possible, what each one does, which one's best for your needs, and which marketing terms are just hype. Click the video on screen right now, and I'll see you there.